What's up everybody, welcome to Balkan Moto. Today we're going to do our first adventure. We're taking the Blue Donkey through the trails of Acton. Let's check it out. So we find ourselves today at Acton Arena as usual, and we're gonna head out into the Acton trails, which are literally just down that way. It's worth mentioning that these are potentially private roads, and they do go through a lot of the farmland, so if you are gonna do this, do it at your own risk. So yeah, let's get going. Alright, we have this. As usual, we're going to start in second just to practice a little. Stand up a little. Okay. Wait for the cars. Oh, while we do that, might as well just do this. Okay, here we go. So this area here I call the floating flats, just because there's a lot of these flat holes where you could definitely practice floating like that. Oh, there's a few bumps and jumps. The surface is a little loose right now. I think it's been quite dry for the last few days, so it feels a little loose, and also moisture is quite high this morning. Okay, at least the puddles are pretty much almost gone, except for this massive one. Through this path, there's actually two of the loops that we're going to explore a little later. The first loop actually comes out through here. Oh, okay. And here we have our first little hill, which is probably about 10-degree incline. If you pick your path right, it's very easy. If you pick it through the rocks, it's a little more challenging. There's a little bit of sand, a little bit of big rocks. Up that way is what I call Sunrise Hill, where we'll go later. Here we have a little bit of sand, lighten that front. Okay. Here's another hill here with a little bit of a rut in the middle. Okay, and we're out through it. Once here, if you go up that way, you gotta go up the other hill. At this crossroad here, we'll explore a little more, but down that way into the forest, there's like a hard enduro track. Down that way I'll show you a bit later, and we're going this way, which is kind of the end of the road and leads you back to the pavement. Okay, here we go. actually going to turn around to go explore a little more. At this point I should mention that this is the second time I'm filming this because stupid me deleted the first video. So let's cut to the footage from the previous day. Straight through path. This takes you out back onto the road down there. Let's turn this off. And yeah, so this takes you back out that way. Back the way we came, as we ride back, I'll show you some of the hills, and I'll tell you a little bit more details about them. I'll give you some more metrics so you know how steep these hills actually are, because I know on camera it does not look at all as what it's actually like in person. Yeah, and I plan on using this space as my kind of personal training ground for some off-road adventure riding practice and drills. As you saw, it's quite versatile in terms of types of terrain. There's, we'll go back, I'll show you some of the more single track areas. Yeah, there's a lot of soft surface, a lot of like sandy soft surface. Today it rained like 2 days ago, so the soil still has a little bit of moisture in it, but it's very dry, or drier than most times. Usually like that first path down there with the lots of little like potholes, that usually tends to have like almost every pothole filled with water. Today it's quite dry. And actually with the sandy bits it's quite loose, so it's quite important to keep your eyes forward, don't focus too much down, and relax, so that if the bike tugs it doesn't drop under you. Okay, it seems like those people are just standing off to the side, so let's go back and we'll show you kind of like the first area where one could go practice. Oh, wait. Before we go, don't forget your ABS off. Okay, here we go. Easy does it. Oh, the front started to go a little bit on me there, but some peg pressure. So now we're going back up the way we came. I can kind of feel the back is again a little loose here. You can kind of see our tracks from the first time. At least it's a nice cool morning, so it's not horribly hot outside. This is the rutted hill up here. So now we're actually going to go left. Through the sandy bits here. To the rutted area. Okay. And let's go up the hill. Okay. For now, I hope it doesn't fall. Yeah, bike seems pretty upright. Okay, so we're on top of the hill. Let me show you some things. So, I consider this probably the medium-sized hill for we have this flat area here. So the bike is up here, kind of like a nice view. We have this area up here. So we came down from like those trees there, down that way, and we went around and all the way down. But if we turned in, we can obviously come back up this hill, but then there's this big flat area here. So this is actually perfect for running some drills, like doing tight U-turns, slow speed maneuvers. There's like some sandy bits, some ruts. So definitely going to be doing some drills there. This hill is obviously a fairly easy hill, but a good hill to practice going up and down. At least I feel pretty confident going up and down it. Probably the hardest part is this turnaround right here, and I'll show you why we turned around. But the other thing to kind of illustrate here is the grade on this hill. So I don't know, the camera's probably not picking this up, but in terms of how steep this hill is, we got, what do we got? Let's say this is about halfway. That's about a 15-degree incline. So not terribly steep, at least at this bit. It's 15 degrees. It does vary a bit. So here it's, yeah, it's about 15 degrees. So not a terribly steep hill. If this one's 15, the little one over there with the gravel is less, obviously. And before we go down, let me show you the other side of it, which we didn't go to from the other side. But there's a reason for that. The other side of this hill is actually quite a bit beyond my skill level. So as we go down this way, this part is the easy part. I can certainly ride this. As you can see, we're actually on top of the hill further, so it's here where it gets quite tricky. So we have this little tight section here, which again, this is fine. I can do this, but this is where it gets rough. So we have a lot of line selection that's needed here, a lot of large loose rock, right? So traction is going to be an issue, slowing down. Then we have this bend, and some of the rocks are pretty sharp too. So as we come around this bend, we have this like long straight run all the way down, but it's a long straight all the way down through those rocks. This would be actually a really good evaluation of skill as I build skill, whether or not I'd be able to come up as well as come down. Coming down would obviously be a more controlled, slow descent type thing, and in terms of incline, I think this side is steeper than the other side, but I might be wrong. It might just be a in my head type thing. So let's say about here we got what? Yeah, so this side is about probably closer to 20-degree incline, and I guess if you pick the steeper side here, that's yeah, closer to 25, yeah, 20-25 degree incline. From the bottom side, you do have a good run up, but because you would be riding through all that cut, what is that, wheat or whatever, that stuff's mega slippery. So you would be able to build some momentum coming up, but then you really got to pick your line through these rocks and manage traction and momentum coming up, because the biggest problem is stopping right about there, because this is not wide enough to turn around, or at least not turn around easily without dropping the bike. So when and if I end up building the courage for this, it's going to be a one-shot, all or nothing type thing. or I end up stuck with figuring out mid-hill recovery techniques. Yeah, so now we're coming back up the hill. Oh. Yeah, let's head down the hill the way we came, so we can take a look at the flat area over here. There's like a bunch of large stones down there. I think the young people use as a hangout spot. And then there's the people that were walking there. There is the kind of the beginner loop that I'll show you after that, which is kind of coming across and going straight towards the forest there, which would take a right around that hill and come out onto the main path that I showed you earlier when we were coming in. So that kind of loop through there and then backwards is the beginner loop, what I call the beginner loop. After that, we'll head out towards the forest down that way and check out the kind of the secondary loop that we have, which is through the forest and then up the farmland and up through a single track space back out onto the main track. Start in second because that's the ideal. Okay, we have everything. Let's drink some water. All right, so here we go. Starting up on the pegs, front brake, rear brake, clutch control. Okay, slow descent. Pick our line, look forward. Boom, we're down. Okay, let's cut this way. So this is the bottom area that I was talking about. So foot peg pressure here. We have compact sand and rock. We have a few little like hills here, some ruts and little ramps that we can practice lifting or floating the front. Here we have like little ruts. Oh, that was the rear kicking out. I think this would probably be a good area to practice spin turns or elephant turns. You just gotta, be slow first, just because I don't actually know what's here. There seems to be like a few big rocks here and there. Also, it looks like we're not the only ones with the idea of spin turns. Looks like some ATVs have been doing some burnouts here. Let's go check out that rock formation. Oh, there's a giant pile of pallets. That's you gotta be careful about that because there might be like nails around here. Oh, it seems like someone's cut the grass path to the area for themselves. We're gonna go through the deep grass. Yeah, let's go through the deep grass. Okay, so definitely fun little zone. Okay, let's show you the beginner loop. Hopefully those people are past the hill and I don't scare them. So the beginner loop kind of follows this line here and we're going to go down that way. Oh, a little sand. Okay, here we go, single track. Let's see how wet it is. Now we go this way, join this track. Oh, perfect timing. Okay, and then we cut this way. And we're back onto this area where we make it up to the top of the little hill over here. And again, this is probably like, if that one was 15 degrees, this is probably like 10, if that. Okay, let's slow down a little. Okay, let's pick the less rocks. There's this area here that I didn't show you earlier, which is this little dip. It takes you back to the, and that's the full loop. We're back to where we started, right here. Now let's try it backwards, just to get some practice today. Okay, so we're going backwards now. Whoa, that was a little sketch. Through the little dip on this side. Oh, there's a big rock there. Gotta be careful. I could have. So now we go uphill through the rocky bit. Manage traction. Smooth, uneventful. Okay. And now we gotta find the path, which goes through here somewhere. This way. Oh, it seems like it's a little bit easier this way. Gotta be careful with those leaning down maneuvers. I tend to twist the throttle when I do that. Okay, and we're back. Woo. To where we started. Let's take a break here. All right. Okay. Oh, let's get some water. All right, let me show you the kind of like the other beginner / intermediate loop, and then we're gonna go to a bunch of dead ends so I can show you the kind of the hard enduro side of things. Okay, let's go on the pegs. So as we came down the hill, if we hung a left through the sandy bits, so this is like the tricky area where one could really lose it like that. And then in here in the tree line, it's also like that. So gotta be careful. Manage that throttle. Okay, trees. Okay, here we go. So it's quite sandy here. Definitely dirt bike area. And then we end up on this hill. Lots of people riding. Hi. Sorry. Okay, let's not get too excited because this is grass. Traction is a whole different ball game on grass. Okay, watch the bale. Let's hope those people didn't take this path. Okay, they're just past it. Okay, so this is the less hilly bit. And we're back to the main path and that big puddle. Okay, so. Okay, let's manage this nonsense here. Okay. Getting a little more confident with this area. And the rocky bits, there's a sandy area here. Okay, so let's go to the super hard enduro trail track, which is over here to the left. Okay. Is that a coyote? Holy shit, that is a coyote. Not sure I want to go that way now. And then it ends up at a very steep dirt hill. Okay. Oh, deep sand. Just let it ride out. Okay. So we're gonna park right up here because that path down there is where it gets serious. Okay, that's good. All right, so from here on, this little valley looking thing is what I call Sand Death Valley. The reason for that is I've gone through here a total of 3 times. The first time I was absolutely terrified. As you can see, it's very narrow. Not only that, it's soft and deep. So as you come around through this bit, this is like the easiest part. And you can see the bicycle tracks. It becomes very sandy and it goes all the way down like that. So me being the inexperienced rider I am, I end up, the first time, miraculously I made it all the way to the bottom, which is also a miracle, and it's a very surprising by itself, because at the bottom there is a sharp left that's very narrow, so you can see it's all soft sandy bits here. There's a sharp left with a big hole on the left, and then as you pass that, there's a deep sand pit that either leads you into the forest straight, or you have to go left towards the old quarry where it's like even harder to ride, or right, which takes you up the hill to the farmland. So I magically made it through. The second time I came through here is when I crashed the bike. Literally what had happened was right about kind of like where that bush is over there, I just like whiskey throttled it, and the bike just went up and landed backwards like this with the front wheel on top of this shelf that you see on the left, which of course snapped the tail of the motorcycle. and the bike was upside down, so I had to like literally try to figure out how to lift it out of this nonsense and get it back onto its wheels so that I can ride back out. The third time I actually looked up some techniques on how to ride this and slowly and surely made it all the way down. Much safer, so I do feel a little more comfortable riding down that. But the fact of the matter is, at the bottom of this hill the terrain gets only harder, so there's literally no point for me to go back down that way, at least not at this time. And yeah, that third time I went down, I went past it, turned towards the quarry, went to explore on foot a little bit, then ended up digging into the sand and spending half an hour trying to get the bike out of the sand. So definitely room for adventure. Yeah, I think we're probably gonna end it here. This is the Acton trails. As you saw, there's definitely lots to ride, lots to do. I will be starting a new series with some off-road riding drills, not to teach, but rather to document my journey into learning how to ride off-road, and show what works for me as a complete novice, the aha moments that I've had, and hopefully get some more people riding off-road. Yeah, so make sure to subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications when your videos become available. Check me out on check out balkanmoto.com, where I'll have actually an article with a map kind of mapping out this whole area. We'll probably update that map as I get more comfortable and ride into further areas. And yeah, and also follow this series. There will be another episode coming out soon where I will go riding in the Campbellville quarry area. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.